Welcome to McArthur Live with
Hi.
Sarah and I'm Tim. And you're
You already introduced me.
Sarah. Welcome in, and we have a new setup. So we got some things to do here. We got a setup going, but we got to of course, you can't be listening to this on a podcast, and if you are, you're not seeing our layout
Probably
here.
doesn't seem any different.
It doesn't seem any different for you. Hopefully, it sounds the same. But we have moved locations. I got an actual office/studio at the dealership. At one point, it was going to be a finance office, but we have plenty of finance officers and managers now, and good setup for them. So they said I could have this office. So it's cool. It's a lot quieter. It's 4 walls and a door, so I don't have a lot of people walking by. Which is really nice. But we are going to work on some things on the windows here, some things, different Ford vehicles, I think is what we're going to go with over here that you guys are going to be able to see. And then we do have this little camera angle here. There you go. That way.
That one needs to be turned.
There we go there. Huh? Nope, don't touch it. It's just where it needs to be.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so we do have this. So this is a backdrop we're going to see on most of the videos. In fact, I recorded a video yesterday.
Until we get a new one.
A new one for the F-150 XL trim. Going through those building prices, and that's the backdrop we'll be using for that for right now. We are going to get a different backdrop that maybe won't have the little McArthur logos. Oh, we might keep those. That's actually one we use for events that I stole. Actually, I asked to borrow it.
She gave it to him. Yes. She was like, hey, I actually have this. Do you want it?
Yeah, she let me use it. So we'll be doing some of that. So that when we do scheduling notes and where I do a lot of talking and Sarah's chatting with you guys in there. That way,
yeah, because we do pull out some of those clips like scheduling notes, recalls and stuff like that. And so we've gotten comments, what is she doing there? She just sits there.
She just sits there. So that'll help out, I think, with those when we pull those videos out. But anyway, so we're excited.
I feel like we're out of focus.
A new, I think it looks good on here. So
okay.
Ask the chat. Are we
out
of focus?
There. How do we look, guys?
I have to manually focus that camera. So if we're out of focus. Because autofocus, since we're not the same distance, it wants to focus in on me, then her, then it gets confused. So let us know. Anyway, we'll keep working on it. So it's fun. It's now we don't feel like we're like crammed together anymore. So we have a little more room.
Don't have
this
to
desk is really big. So
well, anyway. Not only that, I don't feel like I'm crammed into a corner.
Yep. And Sarah has her own desk. So if you've been to the dealership and kind of seen we had my desk, and then Sarah had a little desk just on the end of it. And now we have this office, and she's in her own cubicle over there where one of the sales guys would normally sit, switched me places and worked out. So now she has her own office. She's right across from me. So still right there. So anyway.
I get a heater again.
Yes. And it's warmer too. Because we don't where we were at before, we had this like
you're warmer.
I'm warmer.
I'm still a little bit cold. But it's not as cold. I didn't need my blanket today. I've yet to sit for a full day.
You have a blanket on though.
Yes, because I got cold sitting over there, but it took over an hour to get there instead of needing it immediately.
Anyway, So that's the thing about a dealership. You want to get the temperature just right, so customers aren't warm and falling asleep. Because we try to speed up the process, but as a dealership, sometimes that process takes a little while, and so you might hear for a little while. Don't want you falling asleep while you're here, but you don't want it too cold either. So anyway,
we got some fun member comments for the ones that have been here.
There you go. So anyway, all good stuff. So yes, you can listen to our podcast on different podcasting platforms. We are going to pull this audio off of this. It should be usually we have it go live that night or the next morning, so you can check it out. But if you're on the podcast, you might come over and check it out on YouTube and just see what we're talking about here as we talk about our news little layout here in the studio. So we're calling it studio. This is my studio. Anyway, but yes, a lot of fun, and we still have a lot of things to do. And you'll see probably less of the stuff, but we are going to over there. We're going to put the bookshelf. We're going to put a bookshelf over there of all the things you guys have sent us. So I have all those things put aside, and when we get the bookshelf up, we're going to put it right over there, and so that way on the live stream you guys will be able to see that as well. So we love sharing that, all the different things there with people, and we appreciate things that were brought, except for one. I got Mike's back here, the one Ford Beauty guy wanted back. I could see it, but you guys can't see it. Anyway, all right, enough of that.
I got my stuff up.
Yeah,
I got my member gifts up and out.
All right, you want to talk about membership?
Yes, let's talk about membership. So if you'd like to become a member, you just hit that join. It's right by that subscribe button. If you're an Apple user, you have to do things a little bit differently. So you have to go to your web browser, hit the little A and big A up by the link, and request desktop browser. At that point, you should be able to see it.
Yep.
So our membership comes with exclusive videos, member-only content. We have it's right there in the community tab and the membership tab. It's more of a vlog. He does a lot walk each week. We look up member orders on Fridays. We do a live stream. We have fun with it. We have a Discord.
Well, and if you remember this last week when I went to the auto show, I recorded 4 videos at the auto show just for members.
Yeah.
Different things and my thoughts on a couple things, and my thoughts on the F-150 Lightning Platinum Black Edition.
Yeah.
And yeah, I won't say any of those comments publicly. You can, if you're a member, you can see that.
Yeah.
Because
we also did
anyway,
member only
that.
shorts and content while we were in Colorado. Different posts and such. When we're on trips like that, we treat it more of like a vlog, showing you our progress and all of that. The final day I didn't do much because I was driving.
Yes, you got a chance to drive.
He wasn't thinking of getting the content that I was, so he was more focused on making sure Bronco made it out of the.
So the reason why I have you, although I felt like I did get a lot of content on this one, at the auto show, I did get a lot of. I felt like I did more shorts and stuff. But
well, yeah, because I wasn't there. Usually, I'm the one grabbing the shorts and such.
It's true.
You rely on me to grab those.
Yep. All right. A lot of good vehicles. By the way, check those videos out. In fact, speaking of that, videos that we've done recently, we did I put them all in a playlist. We did about 9 videos from the New York Auto Show. And, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal missing that. But there's a lot of vehicles that were there that we have not seen since New York. So, like if you look, not only F-150, we did like 3 or 4 on the F-150, the F-150 Trimmer, the Raptor, the Platinum Plus Edition, which is the new limited, that Pro Access tailgate, which by the way is not available yet. It's not in the order guide. So sneak peek on that, but we're talking probably the second half of the year if you want that. Also, Trimmer is not in the order guide. But anyway, I won't get into that. Watch my video on the changes if you want to know some of that information. But also we have the freewheeling edition was there, as well as the Bronco Sport Black appearance package, which looked really good in person. You got to see it in person. And then the Bronco Raptor with the Code Orange appearance package, which I hadn't seen. I know there's some media that did get to see that, and I'm not media, so I didn't get a chance to go to that off-roadeo event and see that in person. But this is the second place it's been since then. Let's see what else was there. We had, of course, the new mach-e Rally, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you're wanting something different,
yeah,
it's higher. I kind of like that it's a little bit higher.
Didn't they announce
that
the Rebel Rally?
Yes, that it's going to be racing in the Rebel Rally. Yeah. And by the way, you got to watch that. And there is another reason why we have this behind us. So this is actually a dealer point of sale content that is in the dealership. And I'm like, you know what? Bring that over here. We're going to put that inside the office for 2 reasons. For one, we wanted to kind of block some things here because we have some aftermarket stuff on the back over here, and this blocks it. But for 2, just to kind of remind people, especially if you're a Bronco Sport, if you buy a 23 Bronco Sport, you get to go and off-road, and you got to check that out. Because when we were at the Supercell in Colorado, which I haven't had a chance to talk about much, but we had 2 of the trail guides that were there. Actually, there were 4 because there was some from another one that rode along on.
And he wasn't. He runs it.
He runs it. Okay.
He does. He's not a trail guide. He actually runs it.
Yeah. So it was real fun because I felt like doing the Bronco Nation drives all 3 days, I felt like I was back at off-roading again.
Yeah.
And you learn so many things there that we just did those same things, on our trails.
Yeah.
But anyway, you got to go to those. We have Moab, Nevada. You can't. Yeah, you can see, see that. And then, of course, you have Texas and New Hampshire, but those are available. But QR code is right there. So if you did get a Bronco, go to that. Even if you don't think you can go off-road, go to that, because that's what I said. I was going to order a Bronco, and then I'm like, I'm not going to take it off-road. I went to this and changed my mind, and now I'm just like hooked on it. I'm like, when am I going to go to the next one? Which brings me into another point that I want to talk about later, but there is an event in Kansas.
Yes.
Right, you got some
I need to
information
get
on
that
that.
information.
Kansas Rocks Recreation Park. It's
KRRP.
the website is KS Rock Spark, well, Rocks Park technically.com. Anyway, the event's not on there yet, but November 18th at 9 a.m. they are doing a Bronco event. So it sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. I plan to be there. I'm just put it right there. I don't know what my schedule looks like, but I'm gonna be there November 18th. It's not that because hey, it's the closest one we're gonna have. Kansas, there's only like 2 off-road places to go to, and this is one of them.
It'd be
And I
cool to
haven't been
go
there.
see it when other Bronco enthusiasts are there.
So yes, so it is a publicly or it's a privately owned park,
Yes.
and so you can go there, and so yeah, that'll be a blast. So we're gonna do that as well. But yeah.
But I'll be promoting Rebel Rally, which is an all-female off-road race where they spend 9 days navigating off-road by compass and map. So no communication, no electronics. So I'll be promoting that. There's 22 days left.
So
I got into it.
Well, yes. Well, we had Melissa Clark was there,
Yes,
who has
Melissa Clark.
been the winner
She is
for
a
like
Moab trail guide.
yes, but has won the Rebel
Yeah,
LA
4 times, or she won it once. Her first, maybe more than once.
no, like every year, I think. She said.
He
Anyway,
told me there was a year where she got second, but got like points first or second. I don't know. But her first year driving for Ford in the Bronco Sport, she won the Rebel Rally in the Bronco Sport.
yes, and she's going to use that same Bronco Sport.
Yes.
Which is actually Cyber orange underneath it.
Don't tell them that.
It's a wrap.
We got
It's
to
on
meet
wrap.
her. We also got to meet 2 teams that were training.
Yes.
In their Broncos. So we got to meet the War Horse or War Pony.
War Pony. Yep.
And that team. So that was a lot of fun watching them train, and I actually got to listen to them talking and such. I'm like, I'm going to be following this more.
Yep. And now we have another. They're going to use a mach-e rally to race one. So we'll just see how well that goes. A lot of people are asking. I know it's already on your mind. What are they going to do about charging it? We'll find out, I guess. Probably an F-150 hybrid edition power boost. Anyway, I don't know. Just
solar panels.
Throwing that out there. Anyway, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yes. Anyway. So check out those videos from the New York International Auto Show. Kind of got sidetracked there. We also this week will be doing videos on the F-150. I keep wanting to look at my computer because there's a camera there, but I need to look at that camera for you guys. But F-150, we're going to do our complete guide videos. So we're going to start with the XL. We recorded that yesterday, as well as all the other trim levels. So if you're looking for those, yes, they're coming. And order banks are open up for the 24 F-150. So another thing to note, going back to Supercell, we were there. Bronco Nation was there. So definitely make sure you check out their channel. It is linked in the description of this one. We do try to support several channels. We're members of Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, which we're going to talk a little bit later, and I'll reference his channel because he had a good talk on the UAW strike, as well as All Train Nation. Which is now Ford Talk Live on Monday night, which is it's like I don't watch TV. I watch All Train Nation for 2 hours. That's my that's my thing to do. And Johnny for another, usually as soon as I can get home until they start, I go back to back with that. But that's my entertainment on Monday night. I didn't even watch Monday Night Football. Anyway, All Train Nation, they had some people on last night. In fact, Jordan was on there. All things were his own, he said, not of Bronco Nation. But they did a great job on the talking about the strike as well. A lot of great discussion there. It was very entertaining. And I'm not going to do justice of what they're going to talk about. I'll talk a little bit about how it can impact your order if you have an order, because that's kind of what this live stream is about, is just about helping you guys get your orders in, get them scheduled, get them produced, and get them to you. That's the main purpose of this live stream. But anyway, so be look at Bronco Nation. Also, Second Nature Overland. I put theirs in there. I think that's the correct link to them. They were there. So Keith was there, and he was recording some stuff. And I actually did he interviewed me on that too. Yep. So check his channel out as well. I want to promote that. So, all right. Now, before we get into some good dealer moment, which I think, did I give you that? Okay, got that. Before we get into that, a couple different things that I want to kind of note and let people know about. One is my grandson, Jaden, not Sarah's son, Jolie's. He is in Cub Scout. I think Cub Scouts,
Cub Scouts.
and they're doing a fundraiser. So if you want to help out, link is in the description. For ordering through Camp Masters, it's mainly popcorn ordering. And what I would encourage you to do, there's a catalog there, and his code is J, as in Jaden, 747. So if you click on the link, put in and search for J747, and you would that would go to him. And there's a really cool one in there where you can actually donate popcorn back to the military, which is my favorite. So there, I need to donate yet, so I'm going to do that. But I'm not sure when the deadline is on that. But if you want to help with that, then I'm throwing that out there. We're gonna see.
Which
but anyway,
is
if you want to
special
help,
for them.
yes,
his dad is military.
Yes, his dad is in the military, and so yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. And then also we want to keep you guys on. I don't even think I've told you this, Sarah, but one of our members, and I'm going to say his first name, Eric.
I did know.
Okay, so Eric is having open heart surgery on the 21st. So in 2 days, he's gonna have open heart surgery. So if you guys could be praying for him that day, he's gonna need a lot of support, and so pray for him as he has that surgery. So he's one of our members and watches the live stream about every week. So please be thinking about him that day. So anyway, all right. Anything else?
First off, it is Ridgeview's birthday. Not
It
sure if
is?
it's today or if it was yesterday.
I didn't know that.
But I didn't even see that. I'm horrible about checking Facebook birthdays. But happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Ridgeview is our moderator and does such a great job. So throw him some happy birthdays if you haven't.
So September 19th. So
I don't know if it's today. Ridgeview, is it today or was it yesterday? Did you see him in the live yesterday?
We didn't do it live yesterday.
No, you didn't. But didn't Johnny?
Yeah, but I wasn't able to catch it live.
Oh.
So.
Okay, so while we wait for Ridge's reply, we have some new members.
Oh, yes, we need to talk about members. Hold on a second.
What do you mean we need to talk about members? We already did.
I know, but we haven't done the shout outs.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have some new members to highlight.
All right.
Well, Elizabeth, let's start with that one. Elizabeth said happy birthday, Ridgeview. So that's how I kind of knew.
All right.
We have Sean Watkins that joined as a member today.
Awesome. Welcome, Sean.
We
Don't forget, we got our welcome packet.
Yes. So send me your information, please.
Yep.
We also have VTech87PR1 Diaz. You remember him?
Yes, I think I do.
From Carlisle. He had the Slammed.
Yes.
Slammed
that's
Maverick.
Right.
My choice. He is now a member. So
awesome.
welcome. Join us on Fridays. We are going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. We don't just go over orders. We do some other talk, and sometimes you get a sneak peek in what we're going to talk about the next Tuesday.
Yes.
I think about it by then.
All right. We also have Deke Marshall saying, my luggage is a little jealous you took over their storage room.
Yes, because this is the room that they were using it for storage for things. And when we had like 6 members that come.
Yeah, we had 6 members come in that day.
And so we put their luggage in here while they when they were taking delivery of their vehicles.
But now we have my desk and I have room in front of it. So if we need to stack up some luggage there while we have members here, we can.
Which we might need to be doing another member meetup, because we looked up some orders. And we have 107 Mavericks that should show up in the month of October. So,
So if
anybody wants to kind of work that together and we make a little event of it, let's do it.
Let's chat in Discord members.
Yes. Or anybody, if we just want to make it, just want to make it a
email me.
Yeah, anybody. Yeah. Maybe you're not a member and you're still getting your vehicle from us.
Maybe not in October. I have a lot going on. I have something every weekend.
You're going to see him at the end of October.
Yes. Let's shoot for November.
I don't know.
Or maybe
travels, weather.
Yeah.
We might have to do.
We'll talk about it, guys.
107. So, yes, which actually helps out because it was about 3 months ago.
What, for this month?
It was like 3 months ago that we got 0 allocations that 1 month. Yeah. So, we're feeling that this month.
Yeah.
All right.
Misty says, don't forget to hit the like button, everyone.
Yes. That's free. You don't have to pay for that.
Or the subscribe.
And it does help. So
yes. Deke Marshall says, I wonder if it'll have a green screen and fancy graphics.
Blue screen.
A blue screen. And that is being changed.
By the way, that is, in case you didn't know, that's color code 121A44. If you want to know the color code for that, if you're
He knows the color code, guys.
yes, that's the same color I use for all the wording of all my thumbnails.
Yeah.
That is the color of the Lawn McArthur.
The logo. What are you doing?
Trying to point to the
Oh.
logo. There's only one logo in my view right here.
All right. And then we have like Ryan Foster here.
From Southern California.
We have Marsha.
Did we figure out what day his birthday was on?
I might have missed that.
Ooh, Driven Wild Outdoors is on? All right. Been a while since I've talked to him.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
Probably everybody saw the title and was like, I got to see what Tim's going to say. And I'm like, I don't know. You're gonna. You might want to go watch the replay of Alternation. It'll be better than what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah. All right. I'm not seeing it,
I want it to
here.
Thanks. 4 high, 4 lows in here. They're not members, but
we have Mahathi.
Yeah. Alan. It's one of our members.
Dennis Ferguson.
Alan, I believe they're the ones from Oregon.
Yes.
So, yeah. And Francis is we'll talk about Francis. In a sense, we'll talk about it tonight because Francis has a Bronco on order with us, and it actually got produced before the strike.
Yes.
So it got done.
Oh, and then the weather hit over by Ridgeview. He's only getting rain.
Ooh. Supposed to get rain tonight here too.
Did you hear about the weather in Maine?
No.
There's been was it hurricane, rain? I think I heard of an earthquake. If it's severe weather, it's happening.
Wow.
Apparently. But he hasn't been hit by any of it. He's just getting a lot of rain.
That's good.
VTech. You can find our Discord in the member content under community tabs, I believe. All right. We also have RagnarCon in here.
Get that. There's one there. I want to highlight.
Let's see.
Where is it at? Right here.
Niles is here. Niles, I haven't shown you the sticker I got in Colorado. It says stay hydrated or hydrate or dihydrate. That's what it is. Hydrate or dihydrate. It's like, I have to share that with Niles.
All right.
Down at the top of Pikes Peak. All right. How about a meetup in Oregon? That's a little far away.
Yep. All right. Okay, so shall we move on to Good Dealer moment? Highlight that. Let's do that. By the way, we do need your member or Good Dealer moments. If you have one, send those to us. We need those. We need to hear all about it. And if you don't have one, maybe you put it out there on your Facebook or the different forums or whatever and said, hey, Lawn McArthur's looking for some Good Dealer highlights. If you have great experience with the dealer, again, stay positive about it. If they didn't have one, say, I don't want to hear about it if you didn't, but if you did. All right. You want to?
Oh, Atlantic Storm Lee. That's what's hit Maine.
Oh, okay. I heard about that one going through. I didn't know how. Okay.
It did not hit RagnarCon. Sorry, Ridgeview. Sorry, RagnarCon. I just saw yours.
All right.
All right.
I got a photo to go with this one.
Okay. I first became acquainted with Todd Shore's McLarty Ford in Texarkana, Texas in January of 22. I was searching for a 22 Ford salesman. I met that day was Harley Harmon. He was helpful, professional, courteous, and is a great person. I ended up at a different. Half of this is cut off.
Uh-oh. Well.
Sorry, guys. I realized I ended up at a different, and then all of a sudden, this was my first ever new vehicle purchase. That's fun. Todd Shore's at McLarty Ford in Texarkana, Texas with Harley Harmon.
Well, I don't know if I can
Forgot to
find.
turn my ring down.
I don't know if I can find that back. Okay. Anyway. All right. So they had so that's a good dealer anyway. There you go.
Yes.
Well, I was looking for that email.
He did not buy from Todd Shores. He deserved. Wait. He did not hesitate and courteous. Help me with recalls and never once complained that I did not buy from them. So he ended up at a different dealership.
Okay.
And had a horrible experience with them. But at Todd Shores, they helped him with his recalls, and even though he did not purchase with them.
Which is the right thing to do.
Yep. And when the 23 order banks opened up, he placed his order with them, a hybrid black. He's learning all about anything new that comes out. He insurance shares that knowledge with the customers. He is a great asset. To his great surprise, around June 15th, he was notified that he was scheduled and was built at the end of August. He received notification September 11th from Harley that the truck was here, and then he worried about finance and paperwork. But seems like he did great. He had to run a Carvana quote for a price, so I knew what I might get offered in trade. The offer I received looks like it was good. The paperwork went great. And they actually took the 23 for 2 test drives so you could make sure that it was going well. And it looks like he says Harley Harbin takes pride in his work and shines forth in the way he treats people.
All right. Well, there we go.
So I did not get the whole thing in there because it is
I
cut off and
can't
the
find that.
significant part is cut off. But
I tried to
Harley
find it.
Harmon at Todd Shores, McClarty Ford in Texarkana, Texas.
I got that, and then I don't know. I must have deleted it. Anyway, okay. All right. So there we go.
I
So
listen to a lot of country music, man. I think I need to listen to more.
All right. So let's get into the scheduling notes this week. And one thing I don't have, let me check it real quick. By the way, while you were doing that, I looked at my emails to see if I got anything. And then I realized that I got an email about the Bronco Sport that I ordered and that off-road package, the Black Diamond package.
Yeah.
It got pushed back another week. So the week of October 2nd, which is like the last,
it was originally supposed to be built the week of my birthday.
Yeah. So it got pushed back again. I do want to look up because when people asked, because I had been telling you how many orders of each model, that's usually on a commodity report that Ford sends out and puts it on in Webdo. And that is, they still have not given us that for this week. And that's usually on there on Monday, and it's still Tuesday. It's not there. So I will not be able to share that information tonight. I just looked just now. So just in case you're kind of wondering that, but all right. Well, let's do this here. Let's get into scheduling.
All right.
All right. See, got it on there. You're off camera now. Camera 1. All right. Anyway, so we're going to talk about scheduling information and notes here, starting with the 24 Mustang. So it is scheduling this week for production weeks, a week of, oh, wait, before we get into that, hold on. Almost forgot this. Let's go through this real quick. So don't forget some of the terminology as we talk about this. And I always remember when I start hearing production weeks and scheduling and all that. So order banks are where dealers place their stock and retail orders. Retail orders are customer placed orders. So that might be you out there. Stock orders are orders that are placed by the dealer for stock inventory. So if they don't have any retails, they'll look at stock, just like priority code kind of goes into that. So when you place a retail order, it's in there from anywhere from an 03 to 19, whereas stock orders are put in as a 20 to 80. The lower, the better. So, I know on some of the Mavericks, they're actually getting put in. If you had an order from last year, Ford is making that an 02. If you had, and so that 02 is going to be a lot better than, a 3 or a 10 or even a 19. Scheduling is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in future months, which is what we're going to talk about. Like Mustang here is scheduling for weeks in October, November. So they schedule ahead of time, of course. And then production dates. You're going to get scheduled to the week or to the day, and then eventually it'll get first scheduled to the week, and then they'll get it down to the day. And that day could change a little bit, as some of our members can tell you when we look at those on a weekly basis. But usually, once it gets sent to the order gets sent to the plant for that to be built, like a week or 10 days ahead of time, that date usually won't move at that point. Allocations is what is needed. So allocations are basically a dealer needs a set of allocations to be able to schedule an order. So if a dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank, and a dealer earns allocations based on their sales volume in each of the different models, or a market basket mix, depending on the model, if it's a new model or something like Bronco that's new, as well as Maverick that's new, that those can be done a little differently. Constraints, that is an option that's in short supply or may take longer to build, and for that reason, the capacity is for one that might take longer for it to get scheduled if you have that on those things on your order. So that's kind of some of the constraints we'll talk about. Capacity is the planned production run for a certain motor, trim, or option. Like we know on the Maverick right now, it's a hybrid is 52% will be scheduled as a hybrid right now, 48% as EcoBoost. So we know that mix. Job 1 and Job 2, that's a production run within a model year. So they always, every model year, they've been doing this for years and years. So Job 1 is usually the start of a certain new model year. Job 2, if they need to make any significant changes or something, or reintroduce something that, like, probably you're more than likely on your F-150, 24 F-150, that Job 2 is probably where we're going to see that pro-axis tailgate. Right. And then balance out is the end of production. So some of these are balancing out for 23 as we start up for 24. And so that's some of that terminology. So in case you needed any of that. So, all right. So to work on this arm here. Anyway. So, all right, let's go into 24 Mustang is scheduling this week for the production weeks, the week of October 30th to November 27th. Again, Dark Horse retail orders should be prioritized ahead of stock orders. So make sure that if you have an order for a customer, that it's put in as a retail order. And also just a reminder that the 20-inch wheel, premium painted wheel that is on the premium model that's optional is again for retail orders, open for retail orders and stock amendments. So there you go. Retail only option is the GT performance package. We actually got one in that somebody turned down, so we actually will have a stock one available, but there you go. Exhausted availability is the Dark Horse handling package. They will not be scheduled until April production, and we're talking about November production here. The Night Pony package is also exhausted availability due to limited capacity on black painted roof. So dealers should consider removing this option if they want a stock one scheduled. So they're going to try to keep those to the retails. So I don't have order banks are open up for 24 Mustang, and they're actually building those right now because they're not on strike yet. All right. 24 model year Escape retail scheduling for 24 model year. So they are ramping up. I thought that was going to be a couple weeks yet before that was being done, but it looks like they are scheduling for 24 model year startup, which is for production weeks, the weeks of November 13th through November 27th. So do remember there is no base series this year. Active is the new retail only equipment group. So dealers won't be able to order an Active. You have to go up to ST line and above for that. All right. 24 model year Bronco Sport. Now they are scheduling this week. Order banks are open up for those as well right now. They're scheduled for the weeks of November 6th through November 27th. So the month of November. Exhausted availability on the Outer Banks series. So there you go. A lot of people wanting the Outer Banks. Exhausted availability as well on the different optional packages available. So we're talking about the convenience package, which is optional on the Big Bend, the premium package, which is available on the Badlands, as well as the front and rear splash guards, exhausted availability. Now, exhausted doesn't mean we're going to see zero. It just means it's going to be more limited than what it was already, because they have so many orders that want that on there, and they don't have the parts supply to be able to make those. Also, late availability for the Black Appearance package in the Freewheeling series. Those are both late availability. I'll keep you guys posted on when those can be ordered. All right. 24 model year Edge, you can order those except for the ST. ST is closed, but otherwise you can order that. And then they are scheduling for for production weeks, the weeks of October 30th through November 27th. So basically the month of November. And then there you go. That's about it. Because the other one's about ST, which I just said. All right. 23 model year Bronco, no scheduling. We're not really surprised because that plant right now is not producing Broncos at this time. So if you had a build date for this week, it probably got moved back. Just as a reminder, the two-door Heritage Limited is delayed in production and scheduling. It does say we're pausing accepting orders as well for 24 model year Heritage and Heritage Limited two doors. Let's see what else. Of course, the paint we know about the shadow black paint for the non-Raptors is restricted. And then all Broncos except the Raptor and 24 model year do not come standard with it. Okay. Anyway, actually, I'm going to talk about this little note right here in the dealer news updates because we got some information on it. 24 model year order banks are open right now, and they are extending 23 to help with the launch of the Ranger, which is having its own issues right now. All right, as you know why. 23 model year Explorer scheduling for the production weeks in November, so the weeks of October 30th through November 27th. By the way, the order banks are closed for all retail orders at this time. So they are going to see what else. Dealers will have the ability to submit stock orders for the remainder of 23 model year. If you didn't get yours in, you can ask the dealer to put in a stock order. We've got a bunch of allocations. Looks like we got a bunch that are going to get scheduled this week. If stock orders are selected for scheduling within the existing commodity constraints, customers will have the ability to purchase them upon arrival. So if you can't get that stock one in. And then don't forget 360-degree camera will be built without that. So they're required to have that removal option. 60X put on the order. Base 100A are retail only. I'd be surprised if that goes away for next year, which is good because I don't like the word base on any trim. I don't know who thought the naming something base was a good idea, but it's not. Limit availability for the 3.3 liter engine, as well as the 2.3 EcoBoost engine. That doesn't leave very many options here. Also, limited availability for the limited version, platinum version, XLT version, King Ranch version, because those all have those engines. And also 4-wheel drive. Also, limited availability for the high performance brakes. It's funny they spelled it wrong in here. Also, the Class 4 trailer tow package, as well as the ST high performance package and the twin panel moonroof. We are getting to the end of build up for 23 model year. This is why we're seeing a lot of these being limited. We saw that with the Super Duty, which we still kind of see for 24, but also exhausted availability for the ST line version, as well as the XLT Sport Appearance package. So exhausted is worse than limited. So limited means it can still happen. Exhausted means it's a very slim chance. It's like, very low odds, like slim to none. I will tell you this: 24 model year order bank is going to be opening in October sometime. I've gotten in trouble for actually saying dates. Let's just say the middle of October sometime. You get more information soon, probably. Job 1 should start the first of the year. So that's all I'm going to say. I won't get in trouble. 24 model year. I did find it. So Ford, you got it out there somewhere. If you don't want people to know, you don't want us to tell about it, you probably should take it off of the fleet news bulletin. 24 Ranger is not scheduling. We know why. That plan is shut down. We do does remind us again on Ranger Raptor, like they have for a while, to take off the dealer installed spare tire lock because it's not going to be available on the order guide anymore. Don't forget the FX4 packages need a running board. So if you have it with a chrome package, it needs a chrome board. If it's with a sport package, it needs a sport board, which we've mentioned about every week. So that way when they are scheduling. Job 1 has been moved to next week. So they were going to start production this week. They moved it back because the plant's down. They're on strike. So they won't get built right now. All right, 24 model year Maverick. They are scheduling this week for production weeks, the weeks of November 6th through November 27th. Limited availability on XL. Doesn't mean an XL won't get scheduled, but it's a pretty hard try there. Also, limited availability on the splash guards, tonneau cover, hard trifold, as well as the trailer tow hitch with the 4-pin connector. So I'm back to ditch the hitch again. My phrase from last year is back. Anyway, order banks are open up for these, so you can put orders in. And a lot of people think, well, it's because the prices are high. I don't think so. I think it's because dealerships knew to take theirs. Like for us, we probably could take another 100 and 200 orders. People would put them in with us. The problem is that we can't fulfill those with our allocations. So I think dealers have done a good job to make sure that they don't over order for those. All right. Otherwise, again, keep splash guards, tonneau covers off of your orders anyway. Just a nice little reminder of that, because as you can see, it's not exhaustive availability. 24 model year Expedition order banks are open up for that. They are scheduled for the weeks of October 30th through November 27th. Platinum will require the optional 22-inch wheel, and Platinum units must include the multi-contoured seat removal. You need to put that on there. And also exhaust availability for the mahogany seats on those limited trims. I think it's limited. I think it's that. Yeah, that's right. All right, 24 model year Super Duty. Hold on a second. Might take a little while.
So they're talking about dog names. Someone said that they're from Missoula. He said, oh, that would be a good dog name. Someone said, I'm going to name mine Bart's.
Not sure how to take that. All right. So let's talk about order banks are open up for the 24 model year Super Duty. Job 1 is starting October 5th for the Kentucky truck plant. Ohio job 1 is going to be October 30th. And Ohio is not scheduling for their production weeks yet, but Kentucky is. So when we talk about 24 model year scheduling, it'll be for the Kentucky truck plant vehicles. So they're scheduling for the weeks of October 9th through the weeks of October 23rd. King Ranch and Platinum will be 100% multi-contoured seats. So that means that they have the multi-contoured seats to put on those. All chassis cab orders require the upfitter or the integration system. So you want to make sure the upfit integration system. That's option 18A. So that is now required on chassis cab orders. So make sure you get those on there. Limited availability on the King Ranch. Exhausted availability on F350, F550, Platinum Limited, and Lariat and Limited. What does that leave? XLT, XL. There you go. Limited availability for these following options: 20-inch chrome wheel that's on a single rear wheel only. That's the wheel code is 649. Also, the wheel code 64C. That's the 18-inch bright machine and carbonized gray painted alloy wheel, which is standard on the Lariat. Also, the two-wheel drive Dana axle that is optional on the F450, 550, 600 with the dualies and with the dual rear wheel and 4x4 pickup, or the two-wheel drive chassis cab. The transfer case that's standard on the F600 4x4s with the 7.3 or the 6.7 diesel engine, and with the 193-inch wheelbase or 205-inch wheelbase chassis cabs, as well as certain interiors, the Baja interior that's optional on the XL and Lariat. So you might want to make sure you go with the ebony interior. Exhausted availability for the following items. So that's pretty hard. Like these will probably be pretty hard to get scheduled. And one of them is the wheel that's standard on the F450 pickups. That's also the wheel that's optional on the F350 dualies. So it's that 19.5 G diameter wheel there. So also the LK frame, which is optional on the F550 and F600 with the 6.7 and 7.3, with the 143-inch dually with the payload package. Also the frame HBK, which is optional on the F350 two-wheel drive with the 7.3 engine and the 169-inch wheelbase. Now, I'm actually confused because it says with the 7.3 diesel engine. So I don't know if it's with the diesel or was it the gas. Ford, you need to fix that. Also, exhausted availability on the 193-inch wheelbase, as well as the 205-inch wheelbase, which are both optional on the XL, XLT, 450, 550, 600 chassis cabs. And the Dana axle M315 rear, which is optional on the F350, F450, F600 dualies with the 7.67 diesel engine. And then also the low running frame GA which is available on the F-350 with the 7.3 gas engine or all diesel engines and the 145-inch wheelbase, as well as a low-running frame PB, which is available on the F-450 and F-550 with the 7.3 gas engine or all diesel engines with the 179-inch wheelbase and the dual rear wheels. Also, heavy-duty alternator, which is standard on the XL gas. You need to replace it with either 67B, 67D, or 67E. Also, the wheel 64F, the 18-inch argent painted steel with the painted hub cover and center ornament that's standard on the F-350 single-wheel regular cab. An optional F-350 XL is also exhausted, as well as wheel option 64A, which is the 17-inch argent painted steel with the painted hub cover center ornaments that's standard on the XL. And then, lastly, option 15K, which is the fifth wheel hitch kit. That is, of course, those aren't optional. Those are actually basically the ones that are optional is exhausted. But if it's on the King Ranch Platinum or Limiteds, it's standard on those, so those wouldn't be as affected. So there you go. 23 model year F-150. 20. We know this is 23 model year scheduling, so they are still scheduling. 24 model year order banks are open up now. 23 is closed. You can place those orders except for the trimmer. And scheduling, they're scheduling for the weeks of November 20th, also the week of November 27th, and the week of December 14th. It says, all right, it does say we encourage dealers to utilize the COVP for all retail orders, but this does not impact retail order scheduling. It says dealers will have the ability to submit stock orders for the remainder of 23, though. So if you didn't get theirs, you still want a 23. Maybe you don't like the look of the 24. You want to put a 23. Dealer can put a stock order in for you. And there is no intention of providing a model year transition offer for customer orders that are not produced in a 23 model year. So if you have a 23 model year order, they're not going to give you a private offer if you have to reorder a 24. It says regardless of the COVP status. So just something to keep in mind there. There you go. All right. Now, 23 model year F-150 Lightning. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. They are scheduling for the same weeks of November 20th and the weeks of November 27th and the week of December 14th. So make sure you get those in. Order bank is not closed. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. That's my is it true? Just a second. And then they have the same note. They just copy pasted from the F-150 down to that Lightning. So some of that stuff's not relevant. So we're going to skip the rest of it. 23 model year Mach-E is scheduling for the weeks of October 30th through November 27th. Order banks are open up, and they have taken off the note about the California Route 1 for stock orders. So that's something to take note of there. 23 model year Transit Connect van and wagon is scheduling for the weeks of October 30th through December 18th, the weeks of December 18th. Balance out for the Transit Connect, which is done in the U.S., is December 22nd. That is the last day they're going to build a Transit Connect in the United States. So sounds like to me they may still make them in Europe, but we'll be done with after that. No constraints. They're going to finish out that. So there you go. 23 model year Transit. That is scheduling for the weeks of November 13th and the week of November 20th. There you go. Orders are needed from dealers for non-E transits with the 3.5 V6 Cyclone engine. That's 99.8, as well as the 3.5 EcoBoost 99G. And also, the temporarily available for stock orders is the high-res camera, option 61E. Limited availability for these following options, and that is the high roof jumbo bus, the high roof long bus, the 360-degree camera, the AM/FM with the 4-inch multi-function display, the Transit Trail package, and the 10-way power driver and ebony leather seat. Now, completely balanced out, which means it's done for the model year, is the depopulated key, the power running boards, the side barn doors, the all-crew van body types, and the Transit 350 heavy-duty dually cutaway chassis cab and cargo vans. Not available for stock orders is the 3.5 EcoBoost 99G, although it mentions it wants those up above. So maybe they got to get their things straight there. And then also 360-degree camera, not available for stock orders either. So there we go. All right. That's scheduling. Any questions directly resulted to scheduling?
Not that I really saw. Had a Bronco question I answered.
What was that for the people in the podcast that aren't in the chat?
So they asked if they have a Sasquatch and they have 35s, do they need a different bracket for their spare tire in the back, or can they just use what's stock?
They can use what's stock. The heavier you get back there, you may reinforce it. But
that's what I said. I was like, you have 35s.
You should be fine. 35 is kind of like the line there, but I did mine just more for look on the back of mine, but it wouldn't be
but
a
you
bad
have
idea.
35s on the back, and I
Yes.
said I knew that you hadn't reinforced yours.
No, it didn't
And
need
so
to. I
you were
did
good.
it more because I like the look of it.
But if you were looking for one that's good, RTR has one.
RTR has one. Rough Country has one.
So they're out there.
We know Moto Metal. I think it's Moto Metal.
I like the look of RTR.
Yes. RTR's is a molly, so you can
Yes.
add other things to the back.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that the Rough Country one is as
Yeah.
well. I got the one that not only did that, but also raised up the light, which I think it does on the Sasquatch too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right. Good. Okay. I don't have too many dealer news updates. Let's just kind of roll into that real quick here. All right. So the only one that I really have is actually a communication that Ford gave to the service departments about the DIO speaking of Bronco, on the Bronco. So now the trailer tow is not a factory installed option, but a dealer installed option. So they gave them part numbers and such of what they're going to need for those 24 model year Broncos. And so it gives us some insight as well of what they're going to be doing at the dealership. So they basically will be installing the 2-inch hitch, the Ford OEM hitch. They'll also be installing the connector. It'll be a 4 and 7-pin connector, if you're wondering that, as well as a software update to enable the electrical functions as well. So they need to just kind of remind them of that. So they are telling them that they are to charge. Well, actually, they report to Ford. The customer doesn't get to see this, but on their end, it's a 1.4 hour install labor that Ford will reimburse them for, and then the hitch and everything. So that's why it comes to $500. So the parts itself are supposed to be $339 retail or dealer MSRP or something. But anyway, so now we kind of know that. In my opinion, this kind of tells me one of two things. We knew the hitch wasn't going to be. We know that there was a trailer tow prep kit. And so it sounds like to me that they're wiring it back to the back. So then the dealer just needs to install the hitch and the actual wiring into the bracket. That's what it sounds like to me. And then the software update, which is probably, part of it too. So anyway, that's some good information, at least for that. Last one I want to talk about is and I'm going to go to this for this, is on the New Ranger. New Ranger came out today.
I was just talking about that.
New Ranger, and we'll talk about this because I want to make sure everybody is aware, and I'm going to say it today so everybody hears this, because in the next year, everybody's going to be asking about this. So let's talk about this New Ranger. So New Ranger came out today in Europe, right? There is I don't have it linked in the description, but this is the new 2025 Ford Ranger plug-in hybrid that will be available in Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, not available in the US in 24-25 model year. They have not said whether it will come to the US. I know Mike Levine tweeted out, he said that if you're looking for an electric pickup truck or electrified, there is a Maverick hybrid available. It gets 42 miles to the gallon. There's an F-150 Lightning available that's a full electric, and then there's a F-150 Power Boost. So you kind of see, I actually kind of like that you have the gas cans there, and then the plug-in is right behind it. So
I like that.
That's kind of cool. And it's going to get the Pro Power on board. like we see with the F-150. So they're going to be able to use those plugins back there just like that. Now, here's what I like about this is that this is a plugin. And I've said more plugins. We need more plugins. So the benefit of this truck, and I really hope it does come to the US, is that you can go in an all electric mode. Right. And so, like, if they're at the job site, now we got to remember in Europe, they don't have an F 150. So this is their F 150 truck. So in Europe, that's what they rely on. That's their big truck. And the Ranger is the #1 selling pickup in Europe, unlike it is in the US. And because of that, so these are the trucks that they get for the job sites. So they're going to get this. So what's going to benefit of this is you can go all electric mode on the job site, plug in, and you can go without turning the vehicle. I mean, you're going to turn the vehicle on, but you can go in all electric mode so it doesn't turn the gas motor on. And then you can use those outlets to power those different drills and tools that you might need on the job site. With those two outlets right there. So that'll come in handy. I kind of glanced through the memo today, had a lot of other things going on, but I don't know if it's 2 or 2.4 kilowatts. Somebody could, put that in the comments if they remember that. But I hope this does come to the U.S. though. I know for a fact that they're going to try to electrify about every model in the U.S. So I think eventually. Now we did see when they released the new body style Ranger in Europe first, it was released in Europe for 23 model year. And then the U.S. received that same upgrade for 24 model year a year later. So will we see this as a 26 Ranger? I sure hope so. But don't expect this for the U.S. for 20. I keep looking at that camera. Don't expect this for U.S. for the 25 model year. It's not. You'll be sadly disappointed. So some of you are like, you know what? I'm not going to get a 24 Ranger because I'm just going to wait and get the 25, plug in. It's not happening in the U.S., folks. So just know that. I told you got the same thing in 23 when they revealed the 23 Ranger. I said the same thing. This is for Europe. Next year is when we're going to get it. And we even had people at the dealership that were like, so we're ordering 23s. It's the new body style. I said, it's not the new body style. You can order Rangers if you want, but it's not the new body style. Yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. Just don't be sadly disappointed. And so even a lot of people even know Ford really says this is Ford of Europe. And if you see the release and the reveal was done in Europe, it was done in the UK. So anyway, so there you go. That was
just like when with the new body style.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, you heard it here first. This is for Europe. We will not see it in the US in 25 model year. Now, if they change that, based on today's information, I'm saying that. So anyway, all right.
Based on our knowledge.
So I have a lot of recalls to go over. Because we didn't talk about recalls last week because I was at the reveal. We didn't do dealer news updates either, but there really hasn't been any. But we're going to talk about recalls because in a lot of these, I'm actually going to say that first like 4 or 5 are actually not recalls. They're listed under the recall list for Ford, but they're really customer satisfaction programs of things that they probably didn't get or something that they're just doing because they just want to. They want to help out. In fact, most of them are just that.
Yeah.
There's only a couple actual recalls. So let's go through these. First, I'm just going to break it down into 2 different ones. The first one actually came out yesterday. For those of you, and let me go ahead and actually, I gotta do this first so we know. All right.
Otherwise, he doesn't know where to cut it.
That's right. Okay. So here we go. So here's the first one, and that is the heated steering wheel upgrade. So for those of you that were waiting, that had the removal of the heated steering wheel, they said it would be retrofitted later. Later is here. It is now here. So it says this program will go into effect September 30th. Or through September 30th of 2026. So it can be done. It can be upgraded. Not all dealerships have the information, but this does affect 6,261 trucks, and these are F-150s as well as Lightnings. So, and this is for this actually says 23 model year vehicles. So it's not saying 22 model year because I think 22s we actually all received ours. So this is for 23 model year. So in some of those vehicles, that heated steering wheel was a removal option was put on there, and now it can be done. It does say the The field service bullet information in the VIN list will be available September 15th, which was last Friday. So dealers should be able to do this. And they are going to send out letters this week to owners so they can have that. And if you need it, the service action reference number for your dealer is EFC 13033. If they put that in, they should be able to get the information that they need. So dealers are to replace and configure the steering column console modular. This service must be performed on all affected vehicles at no charge to the vehicle owner. So you get a discount and you get it back. That's actually not a bad deal.
No.
You just had to go without it for a year. Anyway, for new vehicle storage guidelines, refer to you got to refer to that EFC 13033. So there you go. That's a pretty cool. That's a good update for a lot of people waiting for it. Now, this other one has to do with 22 and 23 model year Mustangs. So it says these are vehicles built at Flat Rock Assembly. So the 22s, if they were built between August 24th through December 5th, August 24th of 21 through December 5th of 22, or the 23s built between August 10th of 22 through December 15th of 22. It's only 356 vehicles affected, but in some vehicles may be in the process of being. No, that actually doesn't make note. This is actually must be an update to that because it says it can. Some of them can be done at the plant, but no, not anymore. Dealers are to reconfigure the BCM-B to the latest level using the Ford Diagnostic Repair System, FDRS. This service must be performed on all affected vehicles at no charge to the owner, and letters are going to go out the week of September 18th, which is this week. So there you go. That's on Mustangs. This in here has to do with 23 model year Transits missing the rear vinyl floor covering. So if you're missing it, all right, there's 1,320 people. If you were built a 23 model year in Kansas City, the week September 12th, 22 through December 7th of 22, your vehicle might be affected by this. You probably already know if it is. It does say that they're going to, of course, put that vinyl back in. So there you go. Go to your dealer. Letters are going to go out the week of September 11th. So again, some of these recalls were from last week that we missed because of what we were doing last week. All right, this next one is on 23 model year Super Duty vehicles. They're going to perform a vehicle alignment. So it says this program will be in effect through September 30th of 24 or a maximum of 50,000 miles, whichever occurs first. The vehicle already has accumulated 50,000 miles. This coverage will last through September 30th. Anyway, so this is on Super Duties, 23 Super Duties built in Kentucky between March 2nd, 23 to April 12th of 23. So 126 vehicles are affected. So not every vehicle built in that time frame, but you will get a letter if yours is affected. The letters are going to go out the week of October 16th. And the reason for this is all of the affected vehicles were built with front axles that were not properly aligned at time of manufacture and will need to be realigned. So the owner may get a notice. The owner may notice that the vehicle may slightly pull to the left while driving. So you need to take that into your dealer and get that taken care of. There you go. All right. The next one is another customer satisfaction program. I'm giving you guys the numbers on these. 23B 57 on this one. This is for certain 22 and 23 model year F-150 Lightnings on this one. This is a high voltage battery modular replacement and or a battery energy control modular BECM software update. So this is going in effect through September 13th of 24 with no mileage limit on it. So it's 36,611 vehicles that were produced. Probably is going to be the one that actually my old trade-in, which actually sold. So this is for 22 and 23 model year Lightnings. So if it was built for 22 model year between October 14th of 21 through October 19th of 22, or a 23 model year beginning June 10th of 22 with no ending date there, then you could be affected by this. So some vehicles may be in the process of getting this repaired at the factory, which may be why some of those were off-site for so long, getting this done. But it says some of the affected vehicles may have high voltage battery modulars that can cause diagnostic trouble code DTC, and that code would be P0B24. Hybrid battery voltage unstable to set, causing a stop safely now message to repair on the instrument panel cluster, and the vehicle's high voltage battery output to be limited. So that could happen. So all vehicles will receive an update to the BECM software strategy that detects if the high voltage battery experiences a high voltage deviation and may enter the vehicle into a reduced performance state. This updated software is available for dealers to update, or will become available as an over-the-air update. So there you go. May have to just have that. So and then let's see, winter letters going out the week of September 25th to those owners that have that. Now, you might be surprised because did you see that number? 36,600 people were affected by this. So a lot of people said the F-150 production, Lightning production isn't really upscaled. Well, they made at least 36,611 because that's how many are affected by that recall. Anyway, customer satisfaction program 23B11 as well is on 22 model year expeditions. Another one on your mom's expedition because it's in the state window. All right. And also certain 22 to 23 model year F-150 Lightnings. Install new dash mat. I don't like the sound of this. Okay, this is in effect through September 30th of 24 with no mileage limit to it. Expeditions, the 22 model year expeditions built at Kentucky between April 15th of 21 through, actually it may not be, October 29th of 22, or the Lightnings 22 model year built between October 14th of 21 through October 19th of 22, or the 23 model year Lightnings built between June 10th of 22 through December 22nd of 22. A lot of 2 2s there. All right. So reason for this program, customers may be placing beverages on a flat area on the top of the instrument panel. If the beverage spills, it may leak through the instrument panel, and those affected vehicles may exhibit a concern where the audio front control modular ACM needs to be replaced. This may be due to liquid entering through the top of the dash area. You usually put your drinks on the top of the dash? I don't. Anyway, so there you go. Letters are going to go out to owners the week of October 2nd, so I guess we'll wait and see if we get a letter. I don't put a beverage on the top of my dash. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't feel bad for people if they do. All right, moving on. There's this next one is a field service action 23L01 for 23 model year Mustang vehicles with the California special package floor mat shortage. So those vehicles, there's 302 vehicles that were missing their floor mats the week of October, or wait, I'm sorry, I keep saying the week of. And if they're built between January 24th of 23 through April 4th of 23, this is for the 23 model year, then you might have this. So you might have been missing your floor mats. So anyway, so dealers are to direct owners of California special logo vehicles to the company's refund website. So you go to FordOwnershipCare.com to receive compensation of the difference between the floor mats received and the floor mats expected. This service will be offered on all affected vehicles at no charge to the vehicle owner. Owners will receive $150 in compensation after registering on the website. Each owner will have an individual QR code in their owner letter to access the website. Ugh. Alternatively, the owner can enter a PIN to access the website. Contact SSSC to obtain the PIN for a specific VIN number. Letters are going to go out the week of October 9th. So basically, if you didn't, California specials get a special floor mat. So if you didn't get those, you're probably going to get that letter, and they're going to give you $150 because you didn't get your cool California special stitched ones. Anyway, all right. Another customer satisfaction one. Then we'll get into safety recalls. And this is program 23B52 for 23 model year F250s through F600 single rear wheels with an incorrect lug wrench. So this program is in effect through September 30th of 24. No mileage limit here. And 44,699 vehicles were affected by this. If you were a 23 model year Super Duty built at Kentucky between March 16th of 22 through June 2nd of 23, you might be affected by this. So some affected vehicles have provided a toolkit lug wrench may not engage the standard lug nut. You get the wrong size, right? So they're going to send those to you. Dealers are to remove and replace the lug wrench from the toolkit. This service must be performed on all affected vehicles at no charge to the vehicle owner. To assist the vehicle owners to have this repair completed when parts are available, dealers should arrange for a mobile repair at the dealer's location, which ought to be pretty easy, or redeliver the owner's vehicle for after repairs have been completed. So letters are going to go out next week, the week of September 25th. So a lot of letters going out from Ford. Snail mail. It's going to cost them a lot of money. All right. Now let's get to the real recalls. Actually, I have 5 here. All right. But this is good information. So this first one is actually not a new recall. So this is safety recall 23S49. This is an update to that recall. And basically the only thing that they've done, so just for those who didn't know, this is on those 23 model year Super Duties, F250s and 350s with the 10.5-inch axle shaft, that left axle shaft failure at the flange. So this has been this. Now we have the technical instructions and the labor allowances for the dealer to be able to do those now. So they have that information. So that's the only difference in that. There are 41,477 vehicles affected, and letters are going to go out the week of November 13th to let customers know they can go into their dealers and get those done. So parts should be available for that. These next ones, though, I believe are advanced notices. Okay, not all of them. 3 of them. All right. So first off, we have the 24 and 25 model year E-Series and F650, 750 Super Duty vehicles, so the big ones with the automatic transmission. That's the 6R140 Torque Shift 6 automatic transmission. So the reason for this recall is, and there's 5,766 vehicles affected by this. And in these vehicles, a casting defect in the transmission upper valve body casting may cause the main control poppet valve to get stuck in the open position. A stuck poppet valve restricts the flow of lubricant to the rear extension housing bushing, resulting in excessive heat generation in the bushing and erosion of the rear seal. This condition leads to transmission fluid leakage, noise, and vibration. The increased vibration may result in a loss of torque retention on the ambient plate bolts. Once the ambient plate bolt torque is compromised, the park actuator may be unable to engage the park pawl into the gear, into the park gear. So letters are going to go out the week of October 30th to these owners. So again, this is an advance notice. You'll get an official notice at the end of October for that. All right. This one is an advance notice as well that's coming out for safety recall 23S46 for 23 model year Super Duties with the Pro Trailer Hitch Assist. All right, so those 18,506 vehicles built at Kentucky Truck Plant between March 15th of 22 through July 14th of 23. And in these vehicles, some of the affected vehicles, the default rear view camera image may not be displayed under the specific circumstances when using the Pro Trailer Hitch Assist feature. Instead, the hitch or trailer may be displayed. An incorrect rear view camera image can result in the driver view of what is behind the vehicle, increasing the risk of a crash. So you want to be careful on that. So letters are going to go out. Does say fourth quarter. Doesn't give it an actual date on this. So if you're noticing that, just be careful. Maybe not use it. But that hitch assist is a pretty cool feature. We got a chance to use that in New York. So, all right. Safety recall. This is another advance notice for 2020 to 2022 model year Aviators and Explorers with the plug-in hybrid vehicles. So 2,952 vehicles were affected by this, and some of these affected vehicles, a manufacturing defect in one or more of the vehicle's high voltage battery cells may result in a cell with lower capacity. In certain cases, the low capacity cell will develop an internal short circuit. Customers will experience a malfunction indicator light, MIL, in the event of a high voltage battery cell internal short. Customers may also experience a loss of motive power, increasing the risk of a crash. Customers will continue to have 12 volts accessories, steering, and braking control. Customers may also experience battery thermal venting, potentially resulting in a vehicle fire, increasing the risk of injury. Well, yeah. So anyway, so there you go. Letters. I don't have the actual when the letters come out. I actually didn't print that page, but letters should be coming out soon for you guys. Again, so that's an advance notice, so we probably will see letters coming out real soon on that. This last one is safety recall 23S35 for 21 to 23 model year F-150 vehicles with a single exhaust. So this 870,000. 634 vehicles. And some of the affected vehicles, the rear axle wire harness may contact the rear axle housing and chafe over an extended period of time, damaging the electric parking brake wiring. Damaged electric parking brake wire may result in inadvertent parking brake application when driving. That's not good. Potentially resulting in loss of control of the vehicle, increasing the risk of crash. So letters are going to go out. Actually, should have already gone out. So hopefully you got those the week of October or September 11th is when those went out. So yeah, if you have a 21 to 23 F-150, and that doesn't matter if it's built at Dearborn or Kansas City, each of those plants. There you go. A lot of recalls, and again, that's a couple weeks, and a lot of those were just customer satisfaction recalls, just a couple major safety recalls there, but there you go. That's the recalls.
All
All right.
I haven't had really any recall specific questions.
Okay. All right. So you can move on then, right?
Finally, my computer froze up.
Okay.
Did we talk about 24 order Broncos? By the way, you can still order a 2-door, right?
You can order 2-door. You can't order 2-door Heritage Edition.
Heritage, but you can order 4-door Heritage.
Yes.
Okay. Our friend that placed an order with us the other day, he has 2 more friends that want to place orders with us too.
4-door, yeah. Yeah, so there's not, I mean, we did talk about 24. Well, we talked about 23 scheduling. 24 scheduling isn't going to happen yet.
No,
So
not yet.
Because that's they're extending production of 23. So 24 production isn't going to be until probably first of the year.
Yeah.
So
but
maybe longer now.
Orders.
Yeah. But you can take orders. Yeah, you can place your orders. Yeah. All right. So is it true for this week? All right. So is it true that you can still order a 23 model year F-150 Lightning? And I brought this up because there are people at the dealership asking me. I thought the order banks were closed. And I said, for the gas and the hybrid, not for the electric. So the Lightning, you can still order a 23 Lightning. And we even have some allocations.
We're still on the other camera. Did you mean to be on the...
No, I'm good.
Okay, because you're talking that camera instead of that camera.
So, yes, I understand that. Thank you. We're getting used to this. So yes, you can still order a Lightning. So I thought we can. These I probably leave it on both of us for these. So yes, you can still order a Lightning. We can place orders, and I think we have some allocations. I know we were told we were going to get 20 allocations for Lightnings, and then I noticed there were only 4. But I think we're going to get our others as well. So anyway, yes, you can place an order for a Lightning right now. Pick your dealer. I would kind of look and see before you pick your dealer how many allocations they're going to have, because we are going to start getting close to the end of production. They are starting to schedule for December build dates. But here's why we're seeing mach-e as well as Lightning still open, is that because we have the new Model E dealer starting effective January 1st, we're not going to see 24 model year available to be ordered until they change over to that.
Okay.
So it probably won't open order banks until in January is probably my thought on that. So you can still place an order for a Lightning. So in case you were wondering about that, order banks are open. You can even go online and order and pick your dealer. But again, before you pick your dealer, contact them, find out if they have allocations available, how many orders they have, to find out if yours would be selected, because it still takes allocations to get those orders. But I think what it's going to happen is, like, we even got some stock ones coming. I think we have 4 stock ones that we're going to do something special. XLTs that we're going to put some cool leather in and do a pretty cool package and discount it too.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's my Is It True for this week. So
All right.
I don't know why, but I feel less comfortable.
Because
I can't extend.
we're doing something new.
I have so this desk is nice, but to make all the cords reach to the computer, I have a huge computer. It's like a gaming computer.
It is a
And
gaming computer.
because of that, it doesn't fit underneath the desk very well. So it's like at my feet. So it's right there. All right.
I switched monitors this morning. Did you catch? Well, yeah, you caught that.
Yeah.
It hasn't blacked out since. So
there you go. All right.
Although I only used it for a few hours.
So for this week, you saw it in the title. Everybody's talking about the UAW strike. So I figured, we can probably talk a little bit about it. I won't go too much into it. I want to see, we're big on here of, stay positive, be kind of one another, right? Be kind to yourself. And that means, providing, everything, to everybody that needs it, the workers, they need to be paid more, right? We saw these, these increases in profits and such by the big 3, and the workers deserve that money. They're working hard. They're working in the factories in those conditions, and they're working hard. They're working a lot of hours. They need some time off, so they've asked for some things that I think is pretty fair. Some extra days, holidays. They added Juneteenth, I think, is what one of the ones that Ford actually is saying they're going to put that one in there. 17 holidays they're giving them pay, as well as 5 weeks of vacation.
Juneteenth is not an actual holiday.
Well, it is. So it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's now
an official holiday.
National holiday now. I know some places may not consider it, but I think now it is a national holiday. So anyway, so they're given those 5 weeks of vacation and such. And I know they've been asking for, I think, 32-hour work week, which makes it very difficult. But for like any of the manufacturers, they go to the 32-hour work week. Then what we're going to see there is they're going to need to hire more people. So because they've got to fill in, because they got to keep that line going. So if they do 32-hour work week, we're talking 4 days of work, right? And I know they're building vehicles for 7 days a week. So, somebody like All Train Nation, by the way, you got to check out theirs, because they really had a great discussion last night on this and talking about that. And somebody had a great idea. Why don't they just go to 410s? So still working 40 hours, do 410s for them.
Yep.
And so then they wouldn't necessarily have to hire any more workers. They could change some things around, but that's an idea. But anyway, and then I don't know if the pensions or the pay is the biggest one, but the pay is going to be difficult to hit. So I did see a tweet today. Someone posted about the actual, I think a lot of them, the reason they're wanting 40% pay increase is because I think it was put out there that I think some of the big 3 CEOs had a 40% pay increase this year because of profits and such, and their pay is based on profitability and that kind of thing. I think they listed, I think is it Reuters, REUTR? Am I saying that right? Anyway, I think they put out there and said the actual facts for, like, at least what Ford was that it wasn't 40%. It was like 21%. Not sure how much, that fact is correct or whatever, but there's got to be hopefully a compromise. They need to negotiate. It's about going back and forth. It's kind of, I was thinking about it like buying a car.
Yeah.
You go in and you sit down and negotiate together. You got somebody that wants to buy a vehicle, and you got another person, the other party wants to sell a vehicle.
Yeah.
Same way with this, Ford wants to have vehicles made, and these people want to be paid. Right. And so you got to go negotiate, come to what's fair for both parties, so that they can both feel like they've won. Right. Yeah. And both parties are getting something. Now, if we get too much of a pay increase, they will struggle to be able to have a profit for R&D, for research and development, right? Well, we have Biden out there saying, hey, we need more EV development and adoption, and we need all this. Well, for dealers that aren't doing a lot of EV, they've got to have some money for research and development. I mean, Ford's put out millions of dollars towards EV. They're building EV plants, right? And they're not in production right now. They're not paying anybody. They have these plants they got to pay for, and that's costing them a lot of money, right? And so I don't know. I'm not sure where the happy medium is here, but hopefully that helps. But on this, I was going to just pretty much just talk about how that affects your Bronco and Ranger order. So we actually have a member that's in here tonight, I think, who had a Bronco produced at the plant before the strike. So the question is, will those vehicles go out? Let's say yours is built, and let's say it hasn't shipped out. Maybe it was built in those plants. Of course, your 24 Ranger hasn't been built yet because they haven't started because of the strike. But your Broncos, if they're built, they're not going anywhere. From what I understand is they're not crossing. Nobody's going to cross those picket lines out of respect for them, which is what should happen. So we'll just, because they're not crossing those picket lines, that means those vehicles that are built at the plant and at the plant, they're not moving from the plant at this point. So if you have one built and it's still at the Michigan assembly plant, it's not going anywhere. Which I feel bad for Francis because is in that situation. I know last night, even Allie on All Train Nation, she's at a dealer and she had a customer that backed out of their order. They have one on order that's scheduled to be built soon, and now they're on strike and they're like, you know what, I'm done. So they backed out of their order. I think I got the story right anyway, but we're going to start seeing that. So how are dealers going to be affected now, at least for these plants? Now, we know right now that the Bronco plant and the Ranger plant are shut down. Not shut down. They're on strike, right? They're not producing vehicles because those workers walked out. And because of that, the non-union workers got laid off. So that's the people that I really feel bad for, because they're not union workers and they're not getting union pay for just striking. They're laid off. They're at home not making any money now because they can't, until the factory's up, they can't work either. So they got to go find other jobs, or they wait and hope that they settle this and they can come back to work. That's the other question. But anyway, I mean, hopefully they can just come to terms and figure things out where it's even. Something to consider, like somebody, I listened to another person that actually was a factory worker. I was interviewed. I can't remember what show it was on. I've been watching some of this stuff. And they were interviewed and they were talking about how that you got to keep in mind there's several manufacturers that are building vehicles in the United States that are selling those vehicles in the United States. We're talking Toyota, Honda, Nissan, non-union workers, and they're producing vehicles, and their labor cost is much lower than the big threes. Because of that, they're going to be able to sell their vehicles at a lower cost than the big three. So the question is, where does the pay increase to the point where Ford can still make vehicles that are affordable? Because here's the thing is, I know that a lot of the workers said we can't even afford the vehicles we're building, which that is a great point. Henry Ford said, I want to make vehicles that my workers can buy. And now they're not doing that. They're not able to do that. But the question is, if they increase labor costs, is that going to just drive up the prices to where they still can't still can't buy the vehicles that they're building? That's the other question that I'm looking at there. But right now, the Bronco and Ranger plant, the Michigan assembly plant is on strike. Friday, they're saying more plants will go on strike. So the question is, what Ford plant is next? Is it the F-150 plant, which would be a huge crippling to that, and that might be where they're going to look at and go, hey, let's go ahead and go on strike at Dearborn, because look at how many F-150s that will affect, and that will get them that'll get them to getting us our demands. So at what point do they go up enough that they make money, but yet Ford and the others don't go bankrupt? Because that was the other thing that someone said on that interview that I watched, was that I should have got that referenced for just because I like to reference things that I find. But at what point do it's so much that where they end up going bankrupt, right? Yeah. Farley mentioned threw that out there, and I don't know what point that's at, but I don't know. So needs to be, and I know a lot of them. I know that the UAW, is it the president or whatever that's speaking? I think that he's been talking a lot, and a lot of things that he's been talking about is more or less that they're upset at the middle class and the economy and such. And I'm like, and I know he's talking he's got a passion for the economy and talking about the economy and that the economy is broken, and that this is an example of that. But it needs to come back to the numbers. Let's talk numbers. Let's talk about what it comes to become an agreement, not what's happened in the past. Let's talk about now. Let's talk about the future, and let's move on and come to an agreement. And so that they can get back to work, and then Ford and the big three can start making vehicles, and they can start competing with Tesla and the others. Because at this point, they're not going to be able to, especially when it comes to the EV market. Tesla's going to dominate at this point. So anyway, hopefully, the discussion I have right now is sparked some conversation.
A little bit, yeah. All right. First off, I would like to say Juneteenth, I did not know what it was.
Oh.
So when I scoffed at it, I had no idea what it was. I've only heard of it because it became a federal holiday in 2020. That's after I was in high school.
Yeah.
I don't look at news.
Yeah, I don't.
I keep
I'm with
news.
you.
I keep news off of my feed, so I don't really know what's going on in places that are metro areas or other areas. I had no idea what it was.
Salina's not a big place that celebrates.
When it was first introduced, comedies were making fun of it, and so I, not knowing what it is, thought it was a joke or like a made-up holiday that they've made real, and it's not. So I just looked up what it is. I had no idea what it was. So
yeah.
So just I throw that out. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone or anything.
Yeah.
I truly had no idea it was a real holiday that had an actual meaning.
So
anyway,
we're in rural Kansas.
We're in rural Kansas.
So we don't.
Sometimes the stuff doesn't hit us. We're in that small town mindset.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Now you guys are asking questions again. Okay. Is there a delay on the F-150 Lightning Lariat that was supposed to be scheduled to be built last week because of the UAW strike?
No. Okay. That plant hasn't been affected.
That's right. That one hasn't been.
Yep. They're still building. In fact, there's somebody on All Train Nation last night that was actually at the Lightning plant they're building. So they are building.
So JD Rules says, yay. The team is back. I heard a rumor that the Teamsters Union who drive the delivery trucks are refusing to drive until UAW strike is resolved. So I think it's those that would pick up the vehicles from factory.
That's what I'd heard. I don't know if that, you don't have much of that. Like I said, I'm not watching
I've heard of it in several news articles. Now I'm in the news. Now with this, I'm seeing more.
Yeah.
But what I think I saw is that they aren't crossing the picket line. So if it's at the factory, they aren't grabbing it and bringing it over to the rail yard. Yeah. But if it's at a rail site that has nothing to do with the factories, it's been on the rail, gets to the location where it then gets onto the truck to get to its next to the dealership, those drivers are still going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've gotten truckloads in, multiple since then.
Yep.
So.
Let's talk about Gene. He's asked this question about 4 times. So
yes.
let's just go ahead and answer this. So, do you see any 24 Tremors previewing? I assume you're talking about Maverick. But so here's the deal on that is that we don't have any allocations. So if we don't have an allocation, we won't have anything preview. So so we wouldn't see anything previewing, but it doesn't mean that Tremors aren't being previewed
somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yes. So we used all of our 22 or 24 allocations last week. So we had 24 Maverick scheduled last week. So
yeah.
Yes. So and I can, I know you have some, but train, like ML Culpepper said, train workers are on a union. So I don't think the train workers are, they're not like striking. it's because they have their own union. But I think, like you had said,
Yeah.
I think it's the drivers that need to go into the plants. They're not gonna, if it means crossing those picket lines, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Out of respect for them. So, which, I admire that. So,
Yeah.
and that's why the Broncos aren't gonna. That's what I'm saying. If they're at the plant, so like the other plants should still be shipping out though. So
Yes.
I don't think the rail companies are striking. They're on their own union. That would be the question is when they were on strike, were the automotive companies
Mhm.
striking too? Not necessarily. But you got to remember pay. So those that are striking, the unions are paying for them. Those that aren't, so like these transport drivers, like the rail companies, if they don't move, they can strike themselves, but I don't think they can. That's not something legal they can do with their union.
Yes.
So, and these other transport drivers, it's more or less that
Yeah.
that would eventually that'll affect their pay as well.
Yes.
So,
But I think it's just that they don't want to cross the picket line.
yep. And the
that's
other,
really where
here's
it's
another
coming
part
up.
of that too is don't forget these are assembly plants. They
Mhm.
assemble the vehicles. So supplies come into these plants. So if
Yes.
these plants are shut down and they don't need supplies coming in, how does that affect the smaller suppliers that supply the parts to these vehicles? How will that affect them? Eventually,
Mhm.
they got to find other places because they're going to have to start laying off workers and such.
Yeah. Top Secret Vids has a point. If the huge three decide to go non-union, then how many of the union workers would outright quit? Not very many, because they have families to feed. They'd have to go out and find new jobs.
I threw
So-
that out there, and here's the thing about that is that's going to be difficult for the big three to do because you're going to still have you're going to have union workers, and if Ford says, hey, you know what, if you want to be non-union, we're going to hire you at this pay or whatever, and that kind of thing, that could be a possibility, but they're not going to cross those picket lines. Those are the ones that are right beside them in those factories. They're not going to cross over. It's a community, just like anything else. That it's going to be difficult for that to happen. I think the only way for that to happen would be they'd have to run out of UAW money, where right now they're getting $500 a week is what I heard across the board for them. Once they run out of money, I think that would take. I think Johnny had said on his show that it might take 45 days for that to happen. I think they'd have to last that long, and that's a lot of profit lost. That's a lot of suppliers being shut down and then ramping back up. I think it'd be worse than COVID. So, anyway, all right.
I'm answering Gene.
Oh, yeah, we already answered him.
Yeah.
So, all right.
There we go. Okay. UAW selected the highly profitable factories first. Bronco, Wrangler, Colorado. Yep.
I don't know about profitable. So, and the reason I say that is Bronco's popular right now, and it's
But
backed
it's
up.
nothing like the trucks.
F-150 is the high, and Super Duty is the highest profit margin vehicle. Yeah, that's the vehicle.
Yeah.
That's the one that's making them a lot of money. That's the one that people need. I mean, at least the UAW is being respectful enough and not striking those.
Yes.
Because if they did a strike there, that would cripple the economy. That would probably cripple the economy. Because
it would.
You're talking about construction workers. You're talking about, I mean, these Super Duties. We have all these Super Duties that we have coming in are for people that have jobs that they need those trucks for.
Super Duties, F-150s. A lot of them are for the working people, especially here. A lot of farmers.
Yep. Anyway.
And some of them could go without a brand new vehicle, but some of them are starting up a business, or it just happens to be the year that they need that new equipment or something, and so it will hurt them.
Yeah.
So
and they mentioned pensions. I think Bill mentioned that in there. I don't know if they could go to something similar to what Tesla's doing. Tesla pays their workers less, but they get a certain amount of like profits and such. So maybe they needed to go to some sort of system where they do a better job of providing more profits when they do have these. So where the CEOs is making money, so are all the employees. And I know they do get profit sharing. So they're not that they're not getting profit sharing, but I don't think they're getting as much as they
Yeah.
feel like they deserve.
Yeah.
So they're putting in a lot of work and everything. So,
Yeah.
I
have a lot of questions on, I was scheduled at this time, but I'm, that plant's striking. How's that going to affect me? We won't know.
that'll move your build dates back. Kind of like
Yeah.
the Ranger, it was supposed to start production last week. Now they've
moved back.
Now they moved it back to next week. And then if they're still on strike, they'll move it back another week.
So it'll just, if you're already scheduled, you don't need to worry. It'll just keep pushing your date back further and further, but you'll stay scheduled.
By the way, I did that comment still up there by JD Rules. You know, what's really funny is that not only did they, my opinion, they struck at the big three that affect each other, the competitors.
Yes.
So you notice the Wrangler and the Bronco were both on strike. Colorado Ranger,
yes,
are on strike.
So they hit the competitors.
They hit the competitors so that there's no advantage
it's
there.
Evened out.
It's even. So which I thought was. I looked at that and was like, interesting. All right. Any other questions?
So ML Culpepper had said that his Maverick is built or scheduled for a week of 11/20, but will it be shipped? Yes. So far, UAW is not going to affect
that plant. That plant is in Mexico.
It's that plant is not UAW, and I actually saw someone that said that the battery for them, they think that's made in Chile. So they would not be UAW as well. If it's built out of the country, they are not UAW associated.
So the battery, but what about the transmission? But right now, those plants aren't affected. The ones that are building
it's the one. It's the assembly plants that are being affected right now.
The Bronco and Ranger assembly plants. So
right now,
so I don't think Maverick is affected by this yet.
Yes.
F-150 shouldn't be affected, and the shipping of those shouldn't be affected.
No, the shipping should not be affected because the only shipping that's affected are the assembly plants that are down because shippers don't want to cross that picket line. That's the only thing that we see that could cause shipping to be delayed at this time.
Yeah. We'll see what happens Friday.
Yes. All right. 23 rollover is a 17 per Ford chat yesterday, and dealer did my COVP order numbers and matched, and Ford chat show both orders.
I'm confused.
So they have a Maverick rollover order, and they are sitting at 17.
Oh, priority?
Yes.
Okay. Depends on what the other ones at the dealer. Like at our dealership, you be at the back of the line because
but they are a rollover. They rolled over from 23 to 24. They have two orders in.
Okay.
Both are showing.
Yeah.
So their dealer needs to contact someone.
Well, there's a reason why it's not so that O2 almost happens automatically. So, but it needs two things to happen. The order numbers need to be the same, and the COVP has to be done.
He said both were done.
How does he know the COVP was done? Only the dealer knows whether or not they did it. The dealer can say they did it and not do it.
Okay.
And the question is, did they do it before the deadline?
That's the question.
The deadline was September. What was that date?
September.
No, it was August, actually.
No.
The original date was like August 15th or something like that.
August 15th.
And then they gave them another week. We hurried and got a bunch done that week so that the rest of ours could go 02.
I remember that because it coincided with September 22 is when order banks opened for 23, and then August 15th. Yep. So they like that 15 number.
Yep. So it says the COVP order numbers matched in Ford chats saw both orders. So the question is, the reason it's probably not 02 is the COVP either wasn't approved yet. Submitted and approved are two different things. You submit it for COVP, but if you have a bad driver's license, a blurry driver's license, or the driver's license doesn't match up with the order number, with the order. So let's say you moved and you have a driver's license that's an old driver's license that doesn't match up with your new address, they have to match up for it to get approved. So there's a lot of things that happen for it to get approved. Without that approval, that O2 is not going to happen. At this point, the O2 will happen without the dealership contacting Ford and saying, hey, this should be a carryover unit that needs to be an O2. Now they're going to manually have to adjust those accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. There's some conversation to have for your dealer.
Yep.
Any finance deals on the Maverick? Nope.
So
No, but about everything
allocation.
else has great low rates.
Yeah. They know that they can keep those deals off the Mavericks.
Yep. At this point, I mean, I see it probably middle of the year, maybe. So some of you guys, yours might come in and have good rates. Again, you get when you have that order put in, you can go with off the incentives that are available when you ordered or when it comes in. So if they start bringing out incentives, let's say second half of the year, early in March or something like that, or February or whatever, if they come up with some low rates, then when your vehicle comes in, if those low rates are available, then you can get them.
Yep.
It's either when you ordered it or when it comes in that you can take those. So there you go.
All right. All right. Why did dealers get dealer orders for F-350 Limited and mine was not looked at? It depends on your build.
I would be surprised if a dealer got a stock one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't see a stock one getting scheduled on Unlimited. I don't see that happening. So, I mean, I know we didn't. We had some stock ones scheduled, XLTs, because they can produce those, but Limiteds where it's very limited in production. I mean, so I don't know. I guess you'd have to see, depending on the dealer. Now, if there is a situation where, let's say, that dealer doesn't have any orders, so remember, it's within your dealership that gets affected. So let's say that dealership that you're talking about, because especially when you get on forums and you get on Facebook, you got people talking, and you say, hey, my dealer had a stock Limited that got scheduled, and I don't know why mine didn't. Are you at that same dealership? Then that's a question. But if that's a dealership that has no retail orders in there and they have a stock one in there, then I could see that happening. But if it's at the same dealership with a retail order that's limited, I don't see that happening. So again, it has to be specific because we see this happen the last 2 years when we've been doing this now. We've been seeing a lot of people that have had that same thing where, hey, I saw that this one had a new order, and why didn't all these others that were carryover orders? Is that at the same dealership, or you're seeing somebody posted that at a different dealership than yours? It's all done within the dealership. Your allocations earned are within that dealership. We earn, and we usually get about 20 to 25 allocations a month. That's here. Dealer A across the street or down the road or another city, they might get one allocation or two allocations. And then we have 300 carryover orders. That other dealership that's down in Wichita or whatever, they may have all their orders were taken care of last year because they didn't do what we did and they didn't have a lot of carryovers. Well, then they're going to have a lot of new orders scheduled. So again, that's a different dealership situation than another dealership situation. So you have to look at it that way. So always something to remember. Remind yourself. All right. Computer die?
Yes.
I asked if you had your plug-in.
I do.
Is it in your desk?
Yes.
Go get it.
Okay. It keeps dying really quickly. Right. Like it had a full battery before we started the stream. Getting annoying.
Well, we had it on earlier trying to mess with it. All right.
Oh.
ML Culpepper. Broncos are cute for slow off-roading, but if you want to see a Maverick's off-road capabilities at speed, yeah, 2023 SCCA Rallycross National Championships, October 6th to 8th at Heartland Motorsports Park in Topeka, Kansas. Got to check that out. But yes, I will agree. I've been driving my little Maverick Tremor. The thing's got some little get up and go. That thing has got some, it's got some horsepower. 2.0. Watch my door. The 2.0. That 2.0 on that's powerful on that little Maverick. And I mean, I had some fun even today driving around on that thing. He's right. That thing is that's fun to drive if you're doing some fast speed off-roading. But what we did in Colorado, slow off-roading, it's because we did a little rock crawling. I should actually send a picture of that. We had a little wheel lift on the last when we did that. So anyway, but there you go.
We need to talk about that. We haven't really dissected that trip.
No. I know.
I don't have a plug-in over here.
It's down at the end.
It's down at the end?
It's on the other end. You got to kind of go through there and plug it into the tire surge protector. My desk isn't made for people to come visit me. All right. Next question while she figures that out. All right. Alon McArthur would installing a catch can on a 23 Bronco 2.7 engine void the warranty. Make sure you don't pull the plug because you'll pull it out and then our stream's over. So all right. I don't know about the catch can. Will it void the warranty? I don't know, to be honest. That's actually a service question. I don't know, to be honest. I don't think it will, but I don't know for sure. So, not sure. You'll have to ask your local service department as well. A pin.
You have a pin.
What are you doing?
Like a pin.
Go talk.
Over there.
Go talk to them. There.
Thank you. If there are any recalls, will I see it on my app?
Typically, it will be in your app. So a lot of times, I know I have like 100 notifications on my app on things I don't see, but usually the recalls will show up in the app as well.
Okay.
Typically.
There. All right. Keep going. I have short arms.
All right. Still waiting for my Maverick trailer wiring recall. Any word on when the parts will be available? I think they are available.
Yeah, they should be. Talk to your dealer.
I think
Take
they
it
should
in.
be. Yeah, you need to go talk to your dealer because I'm pretty positive those are available.
Yes.
All right. eBaker 331 says, do you think Ford might ever do a hitch prep kit for the Maverick similar to what you mentioned in dealer updates for the Bronco? Don't know. Probably not. Be nice. I mean, they might at some point, but it's hard to tell. I don't know. Good question. Maybe they'll go to that on other ones as well. So they could.
There.
All right. Sarah Davis, 410 work schedule wouldn't work if the factory is running 3 shifts. I was thinking about that too. Didn't add up.
Okay, but you could do 4 shifts. Listen to this. 2 40 or 2 4-10 shifts, right? So you're getting 40 hours in 2 days, right? The factory is working for 20 hours a day. Okay? Then you have 3 days where nothing's happening. Do part-timers and have 2 3-10 shifts.
Well, usually what happens though is that they produce on the weekend too.
Right.
So they don't actually take 3 days off.
No.
2 days off.
But if you're moving to 4 10-hour days, then you can have 3 10-hour days and have part-time workers, right? Or, right?
But then they have to hire part-time.
So then
See what I'm saying?
But move some of those people to the 10-hour days.
Yeah. So
then you're working 4 shifts instead of 3.
So last night on that, they were talking about that, and Johnny at Carker, he's at a dealer too, and he's like, just like with me. I mean, as for us as managers, we can be scheduled for 46 hours a week.
Yep.
How many hours? You can tell me how many hours did I work?
Over.
I work 6 full days. I don't know what y'all. I don't know. I'm working at least 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because Tuesday I actually work this shift here. I work 11 till I usually am out of here at 10 o'clock at night. So it's usually it's a when's that 10? That's 11 hours today, and then I still work usually 5 8-hour days or more, 8.5 9 hours.
Yeah.
I'm working well over 50, and I'm even told I can leave. But again, that's me. I mean, and it doesn't affect my pay anymore, except I think it does because I think I'm getting videos and different things done. So anyway, I mean, but it's a little different situation. Like I can't do 32. I don't know how anybody can work 32 days. Although I could do some more off-roading if I had every Friday off, right? Every Friday off.
Yeah.
Do some off-roading.
So Joe says, guys who build homes can't afford to buy or live in the homes they build. The U.S. auto workers are going to ruin what they have, and eventually everything will move to Mexico. Except Ford's big thing is it's made in America.
Yes, they do want most of their, well, not all their trucks, even though they're saying all of our trucks are made in America. I'm like, not the Maverick, but yeah.
They're so used to saying
I
all
know.
of our trucks are made in America that they forget that they have the baby truck
Maverick.
over in Hermosillo.
Yeah.
Okay. Due to strike, is it possible for 23 Broncos that are scheduled for October being canceled or pushed to 24?
It is a possibility. I would have never said that. I would see them more or less extend 23 production instead. But after what happened last year, I could see those VINs getting canceled and then have to put those in as 24s.
Yeah.
It happened with Maverick last year. That is a possibility.
Yep.
And we're going to have to see.
Yeah.
Does this help supplies come in on those Heritage editions? Maybe. We know that there's production issues with the Heritage, so maybe this helps the Heritage edition. I don't know.
So someone said at Blue, it's 4 10s. Then the weekend guys work 3 12s, but get paid 40. So they would be working 36, but they get paid for 40 hours.
All right.
So there you go. I have a Heritage 2-door with you. Since we can't place 24 Heritage 2-door order, can we lock today's price in for when we are able to order the 24?
No.
No.
Not until an order can be put in can you price lock that.
And it doesn't go between model years.
Yeah.
So basically, if your 2-door doesn't get built this year, you're going to have to order a 4-door.
The question is, I have a 2-door order with you. Is it a 23 2-door?
Yes.
Okay, it is. So we can't put that 24. Now, yeah, I foresee happening, as they said, there's going to be no private offers or whatever, is that I foresee that there's a possibility where they're going to get private offers to those Heritage Edition 2-doors.
Yeah.
I think that we might see that happen. So we might need to move our camera down a little bit. I wanted to be able to get more of the glass. You guys, how do you guys like this? Raptor. F-150 Raptor R. That is sold, by the way. But we do have a code orange. No, that one sold too today, didn't it?
No.
Both of them sold. Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
The orange? I just priced that today.
I know. You just priced it today and we just pictured it today and it sold today. That's how fast those go. So anyway.
Okay.
There you go.
So latest Ford commercials are saying assembled in America because most of a good portion of the parts are made in other countries. ML Culpepper made a good point. North America includes Mexico. So if they are saying made in North America, that is including Mexico.
Yeah, I think what they've been saying is the F-150 and Super Duties are built in America.
Who knows?
I don't know.
All right. Were dealers with rollover orders given at least enough allocations to cover those?
For the most part, they said they were very, at least if you're talking Maverick. I know when that happened, when they did the old broadcast on that, they were talking about that most every dealer is going to be fine there. I says, what about if our allocation number is less than how many carryovers we have? And they said, well, that shouldn't happen. There might be, a fraction of those. Well, I talked to the brand manager and it's like, yeah, I figured you'd probably want to be one of those dealers. And I'm like, at the time we weren't, but because they didn't have a contingency loss at the end of last year, we were able to get some extra allocations scheduled. And I think they wanted to make sure those dealerships, when they had when they could produce more vehicles than what they had expected at the end, they made sure the dealerships that were over their allocation number for the carryovers, that they got theirs. And so that's how we had some. So now we are within our allocation number.
Yeah.
So and we were probably one of the very few in the country that were in that situation. So I would say probably at about every dealership in the country, they should not have more rollovers than they have allocations for the year. So should be in that situation.
Any advice on how to order a 24 Platinum F-150 to make sure it will get the new tailgate? Maybe priority 99 or Ford delay the Platinums until the gate is ready?
So no. So order banks are open up right now for Platinums. that Pro Access tailgate is not available yet. It's a late availability. So at this point, you just would wait to order.
Mm-hmm.
So
And F-150 is different than other models like Bronco, Lightning, Maverick. Those models are different. They aren't regular. F-150's been around for a while, and so they keep their order banks open almost all year.
And they never really they never sell out.
No, they never really sell out.
Yeah.
That factory has been around for long enough that they can keep up.
Factories.
Okay, so 2 factories. They can keep up with demand.
Yeah.
Maverick, demand was higher than they assumed it would be. So they haven't been able to keep up. Thus, they closed order banks because otherwise they would have too many orders. Bronco, demand was higher than what they could do. So order banks closed sooner than usual. Lightning, again, they started off doing reservations, doing a limited number. And again, it's a new model, new something that they are building. So they have to get up to speed. They have to work on getting that factory to the point where they can produce more. F-150 has been around long enough. You don't have to worry about the order banks closing.
No, and I'm sure this is probably similar to like what it was for what he's thinking of from Super Duty, where when there was an option that wasn't available until job 2, they had said put the order in, put it priority 99, but we haven't been told to do that yet. So the assumption is because they won't sell out on F-150. So probably just to hold off on that order. So that's what I would do, is just hold off. And like she's saying, is that since it doesn't sell out, you're not going to be like to the back of the line or anything, because for that. So there may be some platinum orders that might be ahead of yours if you aren't able to put your order in now, so you're not getting your place in line. So I understand what you're wanting to do is get your place in line so that when that option is available, then your order is one of the next ones, not one of the last ones of the platinums.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's looking for.
Yes.
So, but it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, for the last half of this year, we've been doing stock orders. We've had like no retails in there. As soon as we get a retail, it gets scheduled the next week. We haven't had any getting away. In fact, we've been able to order stock trimmers, which is how we came up with our trimmer 37 or our trimmer R package, was because they needed orders. So we put in some trimmer orders, and we got a bunch of them scheduled. So that shouldn't be a hard time getting an F-150 scheduled. So at this point, I would wait until it's available, unless they instruct us differently. We can keep you posted on that. But
so they're asking, what is today's supply of Ford F-150s on the lot within USA? I'm wondering if they strike with those factories, how many days before America's out of F-150s?
Well, I can only tell you about us.
Yeah.
So we looked at it today. I want to run in there and look at the board, but I think we have how many F-150s? Here, let's have a little fun here.
I know we have a lot, or it looks like a lot.
Let's do this. Let's share this screen.
Ragnarcon says that they sell about 2,000 F-150s per day.
All right, take that off the screen. All right, so let's go over here.
And mind you, we do have a bigger amount of stock because our management likes to keep stock. We also are a farming community, so we do.
Not necessarily that we like to keep stock; it's that we've earned the allocations because of how many we sell.
Okay, that's what I was going for. I couldn't get the thoughts out. Yes, we get more allocations. We are a farming community, and so we do sell a lot of F-150s, Super Duties, and such. Because of that,
74 F-150s on our lot. So we're a dealership that normally carries about 100 to 150. Actually, we're about 121 new vehicles. So you can see that out of that, we have more than half of our inventory is F-150s right now.
Yeah.
So we have 74 F-150s in stock. And I looked, and we have, and here's the other thing. I mean, to be honest, is that we kind of figured this was coming. Not that we earn the allocation so we can do whatever, but we're able to get those in. But I think we figured it out that between what we have and what's coming in October and the rest of September, we're going to have like 150 F-150s if we didn't sell another F-150 the rest of the month. So we'll get a lot coming in. So,
Yeah.
so that's, we got, so that's kind of the,
Yeah.
where we're setting. So we're,
but
and
I
are
think
other dealerships the same way? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, where they're
Where I
setting,
was
but-
going with that is some market areas, they might be bigger on the Bronco, or maybe the SUVs are a little bit bigger for them. Somewhere might have a higher escape market area. We have a very high truck area. And so for our allocations are that, to the point where we can get that stock in,
Mhm.
where other dealers that may be smaller or don't have the truck allocations because they don't
Yep.
sell that many, won't have as much. So
And I will admit, I think that we have some management that's always forward thinking, and we have the reason where we're at is because of our forward thinking and how we do things. So we do things differently than others. And I guess I tell my members in my lot walk, I don't tell them, they get clued into some things, but we do things a little different than other dealerships. And because of that, that's why we're thriving, and we're outselling a lot of the metro dealers in Kansas. We're the number one Ford dealership in the state of Kansas. And that includes your Topeka, Wichita, and Kansas City, Kansas dealers.
which are all metro, and we are not considered metro.
Yep. Nope. We're this little farming dealership over here that's just getting lucky. Not really.
We've also set up.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing there. So anyway.
Yeah.
So
We have a donation. Thank you for answering my question over the last few months.
sure.
That's what we're here for.
Yep. We enjoy trying to help customers get their vehicles.
Mhm.
But to that point, I think that there is enough production that at least to last dealerships for a while. We always look at it. We like to be able to really turn and earn is what they call it. So like we're looking at it and we actually just priced. I mean, we're still staying aggressive. Now, here's what we could see possibly if the strike keeps going is we're going to maybe see those prices where dealerships are starting to now come down on those prices, right? Because they're starting to get inventory. So what's going to happen if production stops? And let's say they strike at the F-150 plants, right? And that production doesn't come out. Dealerships are going to want to kind of stock hold their vehicles. We could see those prices go up. Well, you did the pricing today. We repriced every single one of our vehicles, just about, right?
Yes.
And so
I think there were only 5 that did not.
Yes. And so you know how aggressive we got F-150s. Pretty aggressive.
Yes, we do.
I mean,
Um,
some of them are
I want to say
13,
under
15,000 off.
Yeah.
Some of our custom builds are like $15,000 off.
Yep.
We're getting aggressive on them.
Yeah.
We need to sell these because we know we have another 50 coming in next month.
Yes.
We talked to earlier. We got 107 Mavericks coming in. So
Yeah.
that's good. Those Mavericks are going to help us get through this strike and at least have some sales. But that's the other thing to think about is when you have we have to work on that though. Normally we don't hear that because we're clear over there when he's going through there. We have to work on him coming through during this hour. But
Hours.
that's hours. That's the other thing is that we now Maverick to us has been an extra
bump
revenue source for us.
Yeah.
So that we didn't have because it's a new model.
All right. Let's see. We already went over that one. Are transit scheduled orders affected?
Not at this affected by the strike.
Yeah.
Not at this time because they're not made at MAP. So
all right.
At this point, the only plant that is affected, they said, was the MAP assembly plant, the paint and a final assembly. So it's I don't think any of the other ones that make other things that they bring to the plant are affected by this, just assembly, from what I understand. So at this point, those are the only things affected. Friday might be a different change. That might affect some other transits are built in Kansas City. So you're probably seeing that the big threes in these states are affected. Well, when they say Kansas, they're not talking transit. That's actually the GM Fairfax assembly plant. Yeah. So that's where the little Malibu or whatever.
So sticking with the transit theme here for a minute, what's the difference in a transit 22 then 23 special order versus a 23 retail order that is scheduled? I went through that pretty quick.
Now, the difference between 22 and 20, I don't know what the difference is and changes from 22 to 23 because I don't do videos on transits typically.
They're too
They're too complex. I mean,
they're more
there for a while I wasn't doing Super Duty either because the Super Duty order guide, if you look at an order guide for an F-150, it makes sense. It's real easy to
Super
understand.
Duty is crazy.
You look at Super Duty, this order guide is
You know what I do? When I have a Super Duty question, I take over to one of our guys that, does fleet orders, and I go, "Can you help me make sense of
well,
this?"
and transit same way, but they did do away with some things. But so I
Yeah.
don't know what changed, what differences happened from 22 to 23. But basically, if you get a 23 retail order, it won't be any different than a 23 special order. So all the
Yes.
same options are available on a retail or a stock. It doesn't matter. And more than likely, if that's a retail order, it's actually not an order that was. And I guess when I think of a retail, I think of that's a customer order. So again, retail orders versus stock order. So that's what are you referring to retail order? Because I'm looking at a retail order as an already sold ordered vehicle for somebody.
Special ordered.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I ordered a 24 Ranger. It's scheduled for October 30th to be built. Do you think it will still be built on that day?
I think you probably should look and see if it got moved because I would see that it probably got moved back at least a week at this point.
Will the strike affect my friend Vinny Marino's Maverick with you? Scheduled will be 9/25. No, we aren't seeing Mavericks getting scheduled or getting affected.
Like I said, we've looked. We have a bunch coming in.
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
And theirs was for 9/25. Yeah, I see theirs. We're good. The UAW will make a big statement when they strike at the KC plant, being the F-150 is made there.
Some of the F-150s. Now, remember, Dearborn is the entire plant is F-150.
Yes.
So that's all they make there. But in Kansas City, it's split between that and transit.
Yes.
So not all of the F-150s are made in Kansas City. Only about a third of them are made in Kansas City.
Yes. So that one won't be as big of a hit as Dearborn would.
Yes. We'll see.
I lived in New York City for over 30 years. I've seen more pickup trucks big in the last 3 years than ever before. No longer rural. I can't say that word.
Rural
smaller markets, but big metropolitan areas have huge demand. Yeah, some people think it's cool to go country.
Well, that and I mean, F-150s become more of a car that people just have. It's like, hey, I got a truck, I can tow, I can haul, and everything. Just won't make it my daily driver.
And in the past few years, we've had COVID. With COVID, the idea of going out camping, going out on the weekend, going to the lake, doing these things on the weekend where you use a camper, that boomed with COVID because that was the only way that you could get out of your house. You were encouraged to get outside for a bit, go do things, get exercise,
and
do
we
a lot
might
of
see that happen again.
So, going out camping hit a big boom. And so I think that might be where you're seeing people with in the metropolitan areas, they have campers that they need to tow with their F-150s, boats, things like that, where they go out on the weekend and use it. So that might be where you're seeing a spike with those. Or it's just that they want the big truck. It does have great room. I mean, we had 2 kids in the back, and so it worked great. Just
I had a Lightning, but I will say that I like I don't know. For me, I don't use a truck to haul and tow that much.
No.
And so I actually like the size of the Maverick and the Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they bring a Ranger plug-in hybrid, I might be interested in that.
Yeah. We had what was it? I mean, we had the F-150. We had kids in it. It's kind of like we saw a rise in SUVs over cars, right? Ford stopped making the cars because people weren't buying them as much. Moms now want SUVs. Forget the cars.
Yep.
It's almost the same thing. Dads are like, well, forget the car. I want a truck. You have a nice SUV. I want a truck.
Yep.
So let's see. Mavericks I see in New York City are all work trucks, XL, very few Mavericks. Yep. When we were there, we saw a few. They were predominantly doing Maverick things.
Well, those are probably your fleets.
Yes.
Ones.
If they do Ranger plug-in hybrid, then the Maverick all-wheel drive hybrid is dead to me. Do you see who said that?
Yeah.
That makes sense for him.
Yeah.
I wonder how a Maverick hybrid would do as a taxi. Actually, I could see that. I could see that being an Uber.
So I think in Sacramento, I think they run a lot of the old Escape hybrid back when it's back the old body style. And from what I understand, when I went to this training on the Lightning, that's been almost a couple of years now. They talked about that because they talked about the batteries, and they says those are still running. They're like 400,000 miles on these things. The original batteries on these that are still getting 90% effectiveness on the batteries, and they've had to replace the seats like 3 times.
Now, is that the same battery that they put in C-Max and Fusion?
I think so.
Well, then I'm good. I'm good for quite a while.
Yeah, a lot of people are concerned about those batteries and how much it's going to cost, but those batteries the longevity is lasting on most of them, and I think they're going to make those batteries too. When you start seeing, some of the bigger batteries is they're all individual cells. So when maybe one cell goes out, they can just fix that one cell, but anyway.
All right.
Take out the D battery, you have big D batteries and just take out one.
Yeah.
One goes bad.
All right. I'm not seeing any more questions.
Nope. All right.
He says the big SUV issue went from Jeep Wrangler to TRD Pro 4Runner to hopefully Bronco Everglades. It's the bad roads, which is why many gets trucks. The potholes are craters. I get that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. We don't see us trading our C-Max anytime soon. Not unless Maverick gets plug-in hybrid.
All right.
At that point, I might trade.
Well, if there's nothing else, no other questions.
I'm not seeing anything else.
All right.
So,
well,
9:15. So.
All right. How'd you guys like the setup? Kind of liking this.
I kind of like it. Yeah.
Not too bad.
Feels more of a conversation.
Got to get our backdrop, but for right now, we can use that. Don't forget, make sure you sign up for Bronco Off Rodeo. If you get a Bronco Sport 23, sign up. And if you have a 21 Bronco, you still have time. The spots are filling up, but you have until the end of this year to use yours. I haven't used mine yet.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go by myself. The one person, I think the purchaser gets in for free. The other person you got to pay for.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've elected not to do it. Thought about doing the Bronco takeover or the Bronco Nation takeover in Vegas, but that's the same day we need to be at SEMA. So, and then we're flying around.
Okay, so I'll just go to SEMA. You're gonna go to Bronco takeover.
I'm not missing SEMA.
No, I got SEMA and lockdown. Like, I'm doing it.
All right. Anyway, we got a plan for that as well. That's just 6 weeks away. Realize that?
Yeah.
Halloween's in 6 weeks, folks.
Oh.
In case you need to wonder about that. So.
I mean, if you go to Moab, you'll meet our friends.
Yeah.
From Bronco Nation.
Yes. Melissa and Brian, they're awesome.
Yes, Melissa and Brian.
They were so much fun. All right. Well, thank you guys. I think that's about it. We're just going on. So, all right, we got a question. See, just when we were ready to leave. All right. My 23 Bronco Raptor went into production on 9/12 and strike started 9/14. Is there any chance it could be pushed to 24 model year? Or is that guaranteed a 23 because the production started? So the question is, when was your production date? So if yours said, hey, it went into production on this date, it doesn't mean it was made that day. So what is the day it was scheduled to be produced? And your dealer can actually look up and see if it was already produced. Like we were able to do with Francis, we were able to look up and see whether or not his actually had been produced and his has actually been built. It just isn't going to be shipped out yet.
Yeah.
So yours might have gotten produced same time frame. You're going to have to talk to your dealer. They can actually look at the status and they can tell you whether or not it's been produced or not. So, yeah. But I don't think it'll get pushed all the way to 24 because they still plan to produce into December for 23 model year. So we're still a long ways from that. I don't see them going on strike for more than 2 months or more.
Mhm.
So I still think since yours was going to be built, even if it didn't, it would be next in line to be built. So more than likely that's probably still going to be built as a 23. But
Yeah.
again, I can't guarantee anything. So even Ford can't. All right. Anything
All
else?
right.
That it?
They're all saying we have a great setup.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be looking for this week. If you're interested in F-150 information, we are going to be going through the F-150 building price for not just the building price. Actually, building price is 100% accurate. We're using the order guide. We're using the official ordering system to go through the complete guide video on the F-150. It's going to be easier this year because there's less packages. There's not a lot of packages. They've made things simpler for the F-150. But I recorded the XL already. STX is next. Expected the XL video to go live tomorrow night. And then each night we're going to have another F-150. Might even have some go on Saturday, maybe Sunday. We'll have to see how fast I can get through these. But we're going to get those done. We also still need to go back and do Super Duty for 24.
Yes.
But not a lot's changed in 24 Super Duty versus 23. So if I don't get those, that's why that's not been a higher priority, as well as I don't think I did Edge for that same reason. I might not do Edge. It's the last month of the year. Anyway, but be looking for those videos. We're going to have those come out. I think I still have one left from the auto show. I can't remember which one. Oh, Ranger XLT, 24 Ranger XLT. I actually like doing that video because I was pretty impressed by seeing that. Maybe now's not the time to do it because people might be upset. I'm waiting for my 24. It's not being built. The plant's down. We'll just have to see. But anyway, that one I have left from the auto show to do. So we'll see. You might get a couple bonus videos in the next couple of days. So, all right. Other than that, I think that's it. Thank you guys very much for watching.
Any questions that you have can be sent to Sarah Davis at lawmacarthur.com.
Yep. We might have to make this camera the main camera so that it stays on down there. Right?
Yes.
Because it's an extra camera.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. Sarah Davis at Law McArthur, if you have any questions. Thank you guys very much. Don't forget, stay positive, be kind to one another,
and be kind to yourselves.
and we'll see you later.